Over the weekend, I binge watched the miniseries Adolescence. I watched the full 4 hours in one go and it was emotionally gripping. This is a masterpiece in acting, cinematography, British culture, but most importantly, an insight into impactful storytelling. Today, we're going to discuss why I think everyone should watch this heartbreaking, lived in the moment story. Adolescence is the story of Jamie Miller, who is a 13-year-old boy who stabs to death his classmate Katie one evening and then the next morning is arrested for suspicion of murder. This story is not your usual crime drama of did he do it or did he not. It is instead the story of the consequences of a tragedy that unfortunately is becoming more and more common in the lives of young people in the UK today. It focuses on why Jamie might have done it, and spoiler alert, there is no core reason. This show excels at looking at the complexities of our society and how an event like this impacts everyone, from Jamie to his classmates, to his parents, to the police officers, to the detectives, to the doctors, to the lawyers, psychologists, teachers, neighbours, social media presences, even random retail workers. So how does it achieve this? Let's start with the gimmick of the show. It is all shot in one take. By which I mean there is no editing, no switching between camera angles, instead it is more like theatre for screen. The actors and crew get one take to film an hour for each episode, and so everyone has to be on it at all moments. And before we get into the impact of storytelling here, it is just a technological and physical emotional achievement and testament to the creators of the show that they managed to pull something like this off. This one take includes literal journeys in cars, to having to navigate 300 children in a school building, to just having an entire episode basically in one room. This means the actors are in it all the time and can't break character at any moment for the full hour, and it means the crew have to choose specifically in the moment which actor to put the camera on, which can lead to some incredible moments of looking at different people's reactions and seeing who has more status in the moment, like that time when Jamie stands up against the psychologist and we get this beautiful shot of Jamie standing over her. And what this allows is raw acting and real life storytelling, and it's all to do with pace, because what this show excels at is bringing audiences into the lives of these people, because you're literally following a full hour of each of their days. It's not like a normal TV show where a day or a week is told in a 40-minute episode. Instead, you are living through the reality of the situation in real time with the characters. Let's take the first episode as an example. We see Jamie being arrested by the police and literally watch him being driven to the police station. You get to see the inside of the car and get to see the entire journey to the police station. We get to see this in real time, and we see all of the processes that he has to go through whilst he's getting arrested. That by the time it gets to the interview moment, the detective literally states he was arrested 25 minutes ago, which perfectly matches how long it has been in the episode since he was arrested. What this unique way of shooting and pace does is it lets us be sort of a fly on the wall for these characters, and it doesn't feel like we're watching a TV show. In the fourth episode, the camera sits in the back of the car as we see the family drive to the shops and back in real time, and it's like we're just a silent character living through these moments of emotion with the characters. It's immersive, so immersive that I had to watch all episodes back to back because I was just so invested and so hooked. But the pacing doesn't just stop there, because between each episode we get to see a time jump and pacing shift to uncover the complexities of this case. The first 2 episodes are really fast paced and take place just after the crime has happened. The sudden spring into action is captivating, and with how much is happening, you feel the stress and sudden rush that all the characters are also experiencing, as this isn't a usual thing. But then in episode 3, the pacing shifts to a slow 50-minute talk between Jamie and his psychologist, and it's set 7 months later, and we really get to see how even after 7 months, even though the fast urgent energy has died down after the aftermath, we now see how this has lingered in people's minds, and the pacing slows down to a more psychological manipulation moment. And then in the final episode, we jump forward to a year and a month after the incident first happened, and the pacing shifts again, and it feels almost too normal, and this one shot captures what normal British life is like, rather than trying to mimic normal life, because we see it unfolding in front of us, and how this then snaps into something more drastic within a few moments is so real and so truthful. The acting to pull this off is absolutely incredible, because they don't feel like characters, they feel like real people. The actor who played Jamie, Owen Cooper, I mean, give this man an award right now. Considering the actor has never done acting beforehand is so impressive, especially in episodes like episode 3, where he literally had to just sit and talk for 50 minutes straight. To be able to memorize all that at his young age is so impressive, and his performance is so truthful. He gets the emotional moments so perfectly of when to keep quiet and when to lash out, that it feels like you aren't watching an actor, which with most child actors most of the time you do. Instead, it feels like you are witnessing Jamie fall apart at his young age as he comes to terms with why he committed the crime. The dialogue and script is so raw and builds so cleverly, to 1 minute feeling like everything is going well, to seeing how moments in real life can be manipulated by an agenda. Episode 3 is perfect for this, where we see Jamie and the psychologist form conversations that slowly build and twist to outbursts of unfiltered dialogue that adds to this immersive experience.
Did I scare you when I shouted? Could you tell me what these emojis are? How embarrassing is that? Getting scared of a 13-year-old.
And the creatives on purposely used real life to inform this dialogue. That's why it doesn't feel artificial. They would ask Owen what he would say in this moment, so that it would actually come from the mouth of a 13-year-old boy and not feel unrealistic. And moments like episode 4, with the talk about memories of young dating between Jamie's mum and dad, were moments from real life that the two actors had been through, so they could just talk about it and make it not feel makeshifted together. And what this means is that the show didn't hide away from the harsh realities of life, and instead created an atmosphere that unfortunately felt very unnervingly real, which you're not used to seeing TV capture that so perfectly. Let's take episode 2 for example. If anyone has ever been to a British public school, you know exactly what it is like. It is hectic. There is so much going on all at once, and so many different personalities that a lot of the time TV shows try recreating it, but it just never feels right. It either feels artificial or feels unrealistic, because TV shows have either amped up the drama so much and make everything so serious that it would just never happen in reality, or TV shows make schools seem so chill that also would just not happen in reality and doesn't feel realistic. Because of the concept of this show and how it is shot and the complexities of it, it's the first time where I've ever felt like this show actually captured what the environment and atmosphere of a British school is like, and it does it so perfectly. The fact that you can walk past a classroom and you can see kids messing about, teachers playing videos instead of teaching, loud shouting, when the fire alarm goes off, the teachers not being able to get the kids under control and fights breaking out, the comments of the smell of the place, I mean, it really does just capture the grim realities of what British schools can be like, but does so without overdoing it. It finds that nice balance. And there's loads of other atmosphere moments created, like the harshness of a police station, or even the simple British home lifestyle and interacting with nosy neighbours who you don't want to talk to.
Alright, darling.
Yeah,
You know, yeah, Cal.
What this atmosphere creates for the show is showing the different viewpoints and perspectives to what this crime has done to people, and it really gets you to feel the impact and loss of Katie, even though throughout the entire show we never get to meet her or her family, which I think is a really interesting choice. We see how this crime changes every person involved because of how shocking it is. At the end of the second episode, we get a beautiful drone shot of the whole town, which goes from the school all the way to the park where Katie was was stabbed, showing that everyone in this town has been affected by this. And we see Jamie's dad placing flowers down for the girl who was killed by his own son. The guilt and anger and different reactions each character has towards this situation is what makes it so truthful. Like Katie's friend, for example, who refuses to talk and then reacts in physical violence, or the detective who realizes that this could have been his own son and so prioritizes his time with his own family to prevent something like this from happening, or the psychologist who really tries to connect with Jamie on a personal level but by the end can't even look at the sandwich she brought for him, or how a sister, a mum and dad of a killer react, how they question whether it is their fault, whether nurture or nature created this killer, whether they could have done more to fix it, and how their lives will always be permanently stained by this moment that they did not cause. But what the most impactful moment of this entire show is that there is no happy ending. Each episode ends without a satisfying revolution that we would hope for, that would normally bring positivity. It ends in a realistic way, not afraid to hide or hinder the truth. The first episode ends with the dad seeing that his son is the killer. The second episode ends with everyone from school going home, still affected by Katie's death. The third episode sees the psychologist break after holding all of her emotions in, trying to keep it all professional, as she realizes that she can't change Jamie, she can't fix him. And then the fourth episode ends with the dad a year later going back into Jamie's room and realizing for good that he has lost his son and can't ever get him back. His innocent child son is gone. The most tragic part of this entire story is that Jamie was just a normal boy. His room has space and stars on the wall, a computer setup, a teddy bear. He went to a normal British school. He struggled with the same things normal boys go through: relationships, social media, toxic masculinity. He had normal parents, not abusers, not rich ones, normal ones. He lived a normal life, and yet even in that normal life he was so insecure in himself that he lashed out, and he doesn't ever really know why he did it. But it cannot be changed. I think the most powerful moment of this entire show is when Jamie cries out,
Do you like me? Don't you even like me a bit?
and the psychologist just doesn't respond. You see this child helpless, wanting to understand himself, wanting to understand why he did what he did, wanting to become a good person. But the girl Katie is never going to come back. This show is perfect because it lives in the reality of lasting consequences. It makes you question human nature itself, because this could happen to anyone, whether you are the victim, the attacker, or someone in between. I absolutely love this show.
I was wrong.